again, and that's why I want fans to know loud and clear. Look to the camera. Y'all are the reason that the music industry lies. Period. Because you want to feel this thing that has nothing to do with the music. You want to feel like you discovered the artist, right? Do you remember how artists were marketed back in the day versus how they're marketed now? I got to lie to you and pretend like I don't have a record label because you want to feel like you're supporting this person who doesn't have a record label. I'm discovering them from ground zero. They don't have any resources. So now I got to dress, I got to dress in this dingy outfit. Then I got to go home and put on in my nice car and eat some caviar in my motherfucking hot tub. But then I got to leave the house and then put on this trash ass outfit again. So you can feel like I'm struggling. That exists now because that's what fans desire now. But you remember what was happening in the 90s?
Bigger than life.
Bigger than life.
Yep.
Being signed actually meant something, and fans actually gave people clout or looked at people better for being signed.
Yeah.
That was an emblem. That was a symbol that you made it. You were doing something. So you know what? That's what we talked about back then.
Yeah.
Right? But we can't change the business. You got to get the artist signed or whatever as early as possible because that's where you get your returns. So I got to still do my business the same. I just got to change the face, put on some different makeup because, hey, now y'all like the eyes like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you like this kind of mascara. It just is what it is. So that's why we lie, bro. Like we have to make it feel organic. We gonna go through all this work to make it feel organic. Just to make sure you listen to it without your bias. That's all it is. Otherwise, people wouldn't care if something came up on an ad and be like, do I like this or not? I've discovered a lot of music that I like. And I don't know if I ever told you this. I discovered her from an ad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was funny because I was early to her. I don't know. I don't know if you remember, I dropped the YouTube video and everything on her. Yeah. But it was from an ad that I discovered her, and the whole silhouette, all of it was dope. And there's been a few artists that I discovered from ads. Nobody I don't think that's been as big as her. But it doesn't matter, bruh. It doesn't, and maybe it's easier for me to not have that sensitivity because obviously that's what we do. So we're gonna look at some type of marketing and have like an appreciation for it. Yeah. In general, like, what are they doing? Is this working? Nice oh yeah, they dope. Like, yeah, we're seeing it completely different. So we don't have that bias because we're just studying it in general because that's part of what we do. But man, yeah, I hate these arguments where people spend so much time trying to tear artists down because as if they actually care about the artist and the art when it has nothing to do with the artist. It's about you. It's what you want to feel personally.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Like, what reason do you have to disqualify them for it? Because it's funny, I think there's like an invisible checklist that kind of comes up that I wouldn't have thought about if we didn't have this conversation. But it really is like the first thing you look at, or I'll say consumer look at that, is this person being listened to by other people? Right? We look at monthly listening count. Yeah. Go to their Instagram, see if we got some mutual followings. You know what I'm saying? See, oh, my homie from whatever, follow him too. I'm going to ask him how you feel about it. Right? First thing you look for is, do other people listen to them, and do anybody I know listen to them? Right? And I feel like third is this a organic person, or is it some bigger corporation trying to feed this person to me? You're looking for signs, you know what I'm saying, to see the label. Well, I don't know if every fan thinks that deep. I'll be looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the third thing I look for.
I think
a label attached or not, right? Are you indie? Is it just you? Then you go through and look for like other social cues. Oh, he wearing this one clothing brand I fuck with. Yes, I'm fucking with. Oh, man, that dude, man, he lame as fuck. He wearing, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Timberlands with the long white socks. No, I don't fuck with that. So right, like you start looking for like these invisible alignments. Yeah. To say you should listen to this thing or not. And I think that's what makes that argument, well, I said so hypocritical. Is I'm not saying it should stop. I just think we all do it naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing you can do about it. But it's only an issue when it's against you. For what artists is like, if a fan is like, yo, I listen to you because I'll just make it a personal example. Like I've told you before, I've had people be like, hey bro, like I want to work with y'all because like you black and you got locks. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, cool, bro. Whatever gets you over here, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever make you spend the money, I'm with it. That means I have to assume that somewhere out there's a person that's the exact opposite of that. I'm not going to work with you because you're black and you got locks, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? I have to naturally assume that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to every, you know what I'm saying? What is it? There's always an opposite to whatever, but like whatever thing you're kind of discounting people for, people are discounting you for the complete opposite of it. You might fit one archetype that makes a whole group of people want to root for you and vouch you, and that might be, but you might fit 3 other archetypes of other people for why they shouldn't support you and take up for you. And you know what I'm saying? Right. It's like there's nothing you can do about it because people are diverse and weird and we like what we like. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's to me just what makes the whole argument so hypocritical. Yeah. And I know we can't do anything about it, but you know, one of those things is going to be here forever. But that's just it makes it so hypocritical.
No, you make a very, very fair point. And then the one that you said about looking at, are they being pushed by a larger entity? Mm-hmm. Most people don't do that. I think people who are, I'm talking about consumers, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people who are artists in the industry, they do that, right? So we almost don't count on that. Yeah. But there's a level of fans who do care about that stuff, right? But that's the deeper, and that's the deeply invested. Yeah. That's a smaller portion of the whole. Yeah. Most people don't think to care about who they're signed for by who's related to them, any of all those other details that are just like technical music industry. How long have they been in the game before they blew up? Like they'll hear about those stories maybe if they're a fan and they care about the narrative. Mm-hmm. And this is why I had a problem with industry plant when it first started popping up, because less because of the term and the fact that, again, like if you really understand marketing and what it actually takes for an artist to be successful, you don't really give that much credence. But less about that. It was because obviously, you know, so many artists follow us, right? Mm-hmm. And I see so many artists having all these conversations and looking down upon people for meeting the industry plant, quote unquote, argument, you know, and it just felt like this weird classist thing that started to go on. Mm-hmm. And you're hating on this person and you're trying to find why this person shouldn't be successful. But the worst part about it is finding out why they're successful and you're not. Mm-hmm. You're finding all these reasons and excuses, and I don't feel like that does anybody good. All right. So it's like you are hurting yourself by constantly saying, oh, this person is successful just because they have this, just because they have this. Meanwhile, you're not looking at the game for what it is and figuring out, well, how can I get this? Or understanding that one, it doesn't, a lot of times it doesn't happen as clean and clear as like we think, right? It just doesn't.
Not even close.
It's not even close, man. The way these, as a matter of fact, a lot of times they clean it up to make it look and feel like that, because that's a better story than the actual story. The shit was a lot uglier. So it's like being an industry fan, like it's actually a good way to look at things sometimes based on how boring this shit actually was. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but it does damage to me if I'm in this profession and I want to be one of those successful artists to constantly always be thinking about this term, this thing that's separating, this is why people are big or not, when my focus should not be other artists and their type of success. My focus should be the fans, right? Like I would say all the time, you go ask a lot of random people out there what an industry plan is, and they don't know what the hell you're talking about. Right. I would ask my sister, I would ask my girl, I would just ask some homegirls and other people, like, they don't even know. So you're saying Russ is an industry plant. Some people who say that about Russ, right? And it's like, well, you look at Russ's fan base, a lot of them definitely never even heard that term before. Mm-hmm. It's more out in culture now just because it's been pushed and it's been longer. But it's like you're spending too much time wasted on something that has zero contribution to what your actual career is. And you're comparing yourself and looking at something that has zero ability to make you blow up, which is another artist fan base and their story. Use it for inspiration, maybe, but like we know the effort all comes from everybody finding their way to build fans. There's how many artists that have hella artist fans in the industry? Everybody know they're dope. A lot of people in the industry know they dope. Love it. Oh, that person's so talented. Matter of fact, hey, what I can say is, hey, come write this song for me and my artist, but like, you're not going to have a show of us, right? So it still doesn't matter. All the industry can be your fan. Like, but until you pop and have the public fuck with you, is not the same.
Yeah.
Right? That's when then the industry becomes like a benefit on top of it. Right? But you still need that core. Like, oh, now you can leverage your relationships. Now it looks really dope to have this extra love from all these people who have a name for themselves. All these other like things become to matter. But there's people out there who they're at these little mini shows that have all these dope people in the room, and they get on every showcase, or they end up in just all these rooms navigating their like whatever, but they don't have a fan base. Like that fan base is the thing that changes everything. So it's like the more time you spend convincing and pandering to just what's happening in the industry, the less time you're focusing on the thing that's actually gonna make them respect you. And then once you get too old, the industry doesn't look at you the same anyway. We talked about old boy being 31 and they're like, the labels are like, I know you got this song popping, but
you're a little too old.
You a little too old. you over 25, man. You 6 years past gone. All right, so let me take a quick second to say, if you're an artist trying to blow your music up, or if you're a manager, a music professional in general, trying to help an artist blow their music up, I have something that's a game changer for you, and it's completely free. As you may know, we've helped multiple artists go from 0 to hundreds of thousands of streams. We've helped multiple artists go from hundreds of thousands to millions of streams, chart on Billboard, go viral, all of that stuff. And we've now made the way we've branded multiple artists and helped them go viral completely free, step by step in Brandman Network. All you have to do is check out brandmannetwork.com. You apply. It's completely free. But the thing is, we're not going to let everybody in forever. So the faster you apply, the better your chance of getting accepted. Brandmannetwork.com. Check it out. Back to the video. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, bro. So
that happens.
I don't even take credit. Like, the industry plant comments usually come from artists that don't understand it. Because like you said, I feel like you really hear like industry artists saying it. I guess one, because they're all technically industry plants at that point. But then two, they have an understanding of just because you have this entity behind you does not mean you're going to be any more or less successful than the next person. And so I think as artists who don't have a view into that side of the industry that assume like, oh, this is still the magic ticket, you're in a better situation than I am because you have XYZ label behind you. But how many label clients have we worked with where like, if we didn't know the label wasn't working with them on paper, they wouldn't have to look any different than the indie clients we work with. Right? Like if I just looked at their applications and skipped past that part, everything else about them on paper looks exactly the same. Only difference is this client doesn't have a label entity behind them. This client does. And then I even tell artists in that situation, the only difference that they have between, like, the only real leverage point they have over you is that if an amazing moment were to happen for both of y'all, they will be able to cap on it a lot faster. That's the only advantage they really get over you. Like if both of you would have hit the same day, they could probably have somebody moving around it within a matter of days, whereas like it would take you a while to build the infrastructure and learn what you need to do and shit. That's the only benefit they have. Up until that point hits, everything else is exactly the same.
Yep. Why do y'all think artists are spending all this time complaining about the label not doing shit? Because they not doing shit, bro. That first part, you got to get popping yourself, right? And then, like Jacoria said, they can accelerate. They can help you fall in line. That's why the industry plant shit is like the new Illuminati, bro. It's like the excuse to take away and deduce your level of success. Yeah, bro. Like, that's all it is.
And that's why I always account for, like, you know, the conversations we get as a marketing agency. I always try to think about it like, all right, these artists don't have the same conversations we have with nearly as many people as we have them with. So I can get it, right? When you're a marketer, man, this is for y'all out there, bro. When you're a marketer, nobody sees you as a threat, so they tell you everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they be, I know some shit about some shit that is just like, damn, why are you telling me this? You know what I'm saying? Oh, just a guy to run your ass. I ain't no threat in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do nothing. So you hear things, and I remember, man, this was a long time ago, bro. No, maybe not long, maybe like a year ago. There was one guy that reached out to us. I don't know if he ever hit you, but he had DM me. So I kind of want to say it, but I just remember this guy on paper, like, just walking me through all the people he's connected to and showing me proof and, you know what I'm saying, all this shit. Like, on paper, bro, shipping out of here. Real life, nothing. and you know, you get so desensitized to it. I feel like the more you work in music, it's like, bro, everybody knows somebody at this point. So I don't even, when people are like, I know such and such, I'm like, all right, bro, all of us are connected to at least one or two
Yeah.
If you've been doing it long enough, you connected to somebody. So,
right.
But it's just, that's why I say, like, I think the whole industry playing argument, when I hear it, it's usually only an argument made by artists that I can tell don't understand nothing. Because I'm like, bro, you're saying that this person had that advantage, but this artist might have been signed to this deal for 5 years, and it just took them year 4 to start seeing the advantages that you're talking about, right? The first three years, they were going through the same grind you were going through. And they had to know all the things that you were complaining about, they also had to deal with. But they still figured it out, right? Like, there are artists that are in the system that figure it out, just like there are artists outside the system who figure it out. Just like there are artists in the system who don't figure it out, just like there are artists outside the system who never figured it out, right? So it's like, that's the thing that gets me about the industry playing. Because I think it ignores the core, like, struggles that every artist has to go through, right? There are some things where no matter what type of artist you are, like, you're going to go through some very specific struggles and issues just because it comes with, it's like, job related issues. And I feel like it's like you're trying to, like, disregard that part of it because they have a seemingly better situation than you are. Where in reality, bro, I've talked to a lot of some label artists who be looking at our indie clients the complete opposite, right? Like, damn, he ain't got no deal, bro. He doing shit like that. That's crazy. He free. You know what I'm saying? He just woke up there. What you mean? Y'all had the campaign start on Tuesday. He just had the idea for it on Sunday, and it happened like that. Like, yeah, bro. He cleared the invoice on Monday. We was kicking things right. So, like, it's the grass. It's the grass is always green on the other side mentality that I feel like both sides have against each other.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's just weird being in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? You like, yo, you're wrong for so many different reasons, and you're wrong for so many different reasons. So y'all both attacking each other about the whole issue. Crazy.
About nothing, man. About nothing. It's
nothing that fans care about.
That's the part.
Yeah.
Nothing that fans, especially once you get to a more commercial scale, none of them care about. You might have some when you're smaller, first movers, pay attention to them little details. But no, once you're out there, nobody's thinking about that. Nobody's trying to check from where you came from. My thing is, if it were true that having connections meant you were going to be up, that having money meant that you were going to be up, we wouldn't ever have rich people who lose their parents' wealth, right? Like, it's still a certain standard and maintenance. Now, it might be an easier start, right? When we talk about wealth, it might be easier because that's a lot more objective, right? But when what increases that and that difficulty is music, right? The arts, and actually being good at that and convincing people to be your fans. How many kids of people who are famous are not popping and actually make music?
A lot of them.
Period. Like, we look at Russell Simmons, not Russell Simmons, Reverend Run, his brother. Yeah. The two sons, Diggy and JoJo.
Yeah.
Both of them have the same dad. Diggy did a lot better commercially.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the moment.
Same. JoJo had nowhere near that.
Yeah.
Like, I never heard his music outside of him recording his music on the show. Yeah. I'm just saying. Like, so it's not just that resource pool. Like, this is the same resource pool. Yeah. Now, let alone all the kids out there of celebrities. It doesn't even have to just be an artist, right? But that's an artist specifically. We could be a basketball player's son, so they still got money, they still got connections and friends into music. All these things exist, yet they aren't successful in music. All right. Like, especially them, oftentimes a lot of them dabble because they have the riches to take that chance and actually look at it. Like, for one, you see it around you, you know you got the connections, and I can't say, yeah, exactly, studio right there, a real official studio right there. So they don't have to deal with, hey, I gotta still work this regular job. And, like, of course there's certain situations. I don't want to say that about everybody, but, like, it's more real and achievable, it seems like, to them probably, versus somebody who's, don't have the money. So it's like, I need to spend time getting to, like, money. This music money takes too long, or have no idea how this stuff happens. But still, even with that being said, the percentage is so small. For every Jaden Smith, as you point out, who's somebody else actually?
Diddy's one son, popping for a minute. King
Christian. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Joint. Who else? Willow.
Willow.
It's in the Jaden. I mean, that actually might be the best.
Yes.
Conversion rate. You know what I'm saying? From a
that
famous
I've seen.
family.
2 out of 3, and one didn't even try. Shit.
Yeah. Exactly, bro.
That's 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned.
And I feel like there's others. I know.
There's definitely others.
like I think like Young Baby Tate's mom was a famous singer back then. Like that, you know, there's somebody who also like choir. Like that. Right. I have a homie. He don't like people to know, so I ain't gonna say it. But I have a homie who's like dad is a famous rapper and like, or he's not famous anymore, but he was famous at a period in time. And it was like, yeah, he's quietly moving through the world. He don't really tell people about that. I'll happen to know because I just met him one day around. I was like, oh, it's your dad, bro? Like what? Like, what the fuck? But it's like they're out here moving, but it goes back to us being put in situations where we get to see that, which is why sometimes I understand, right? Because like I said, we've met these people, we talk to these people. Because of nature of the job, we have to almost overcare and even pay attention to people we haven't met that are going through these things, right? It just comes with the territory. Yeah. So I do get it when the average artist I meet doesn't have that same level of context to put two and two together. So no, bro, I've worked with indie artists that are struggling. I've worked with label artists that are struggling. All y'all got the same issues, but you don't have it. All you know is you. You know what I'm saying? And maybe like your one or two homies around you, some clips you sing on, you know, TikTok and Instagram and shit. And that's all you got to run off of. But
right.
So I get that. And I take that into consideration every time I think about how annoying it is when artists kind of argue about that. I'm like, bro, it's such a dumbass argument, bro. Like that none of us care about it. Cause like you said, the music is the great equalizer. The music centers everything. It don't matter how much money you got. If they don't like it, then nothing I can do for you. On the reverse side, yo, don't matter how little money you got, if they like it, shit, you keep going, shit gonna work out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's, you know, magical shit happens when people like the music.
Hey, for real magical. That's the best way to say
real
it.
magic, bro. You like damn, man, I can't explain this shit, but hey, it's working, so let's keep running with it. Like when people like the music, things will start to happen for you that don't even sound possible. You'll hear us say things. So we have to even, in the network, sometimes recant things we say. Because like, oh, on the balance of probabilities, this thing doesn't make sense for you. But if you are one of the lucky few where magic shit is happening for you, every marketer or marketing advice you've ever heard is not going to make sense in that moment. It's going to be showing things and doing things that make you go like, damn, Sean said when this is happening, this shouldn't happen, but this is happening right now. So yeah, you're an anomaly, bro, because people like the music. When people like the music,
not shit just like that's that special level too.
Yo, they love it.
Yeah. It's that special love, right? Yeah.
Like I always remember there was one year where we had this one artist, and I always tell people this story. There was an artist we were working with where, I mean, we couldn't spend more than like $4,000 on her across like 4 or 5 months. This was when prices were much cheaper. just need to throw it out there for people start putting math together in their head. But so, and I always remember looking at like, damn, we spent like $4,000 to $5,000 on her, and she was having things happen for her. That I remember we had a couple clients at the time that maybe spend double, triple her budget, weren't even getting close to the same result.
Yeah.
With double, triple the spend. And it was crazy because it's like, bro, like her shit is like 500x. You know what I'm saying? Off this little ass ad budget, this person is like, you know, like 10% X. You know, respectable growth coming out of it. Like nothing bad, but it's not this shit over here. And it's like, the only thing we could deduce it to was like, yo, people really love this music. People think this music is cool. You know what I'm saying?
People love it, man. Yeah, and that actually makes me think there's different levels where some songs can be activated, right? And the higher it takes for your song to truly be activated in culture, the worse the song is, right? Yeah. And we're not talking about like just really, really bad music. So like just cut out really, really objectively just horribly bad music. But let's think about some of them songs that they would have never been a hit if it didn't have a record label, right? On a massive scale, pumping a lot of money, or it wasn't dropped by an artist who was already really big, right? And it still didn't do even what that artist is used to, but it still got a lot of love, right?
Yeah.
Those are like the worst of the best.
Yeah.
The further you go down though, right? Let's start at level 0. At level 0, it's one of those like, yo, this is undeniable. People hear it and it goes, right? So that's the super magic. Then you got some stuff, they just need level 1 level of awareness, right? They might take 5K or, we're just throwing some numbers out there, but that just helps give some example. Like, oh, this one takes 5K, and once it gets 5K, it's going to go.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean just because your song didn't get 5K, it can't go. It might be a 10K song, right? It might need that much to take off and then go crazy. And sometimes, there's another thing. It's the weird part about music too.
Yeah.
It could be a song that takes 5K to take off, and you think that means that this is a bigger song than the song that takes 20K to take off. some songs, right, it might take a little bit longer for it to hit the way it needs, but it's still going to be bigger than that song that pops earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's just some unique elements. All right. So, for instance, this my example, just because this is one of the most recent examples for me personally of songs that the moment I heard it, it just goes crazy. Glorilla FNF, right? I'm gonna keep pushing the agenda, man. I actually went deeper into her catalog. I'm in love with it even more. FNF, right? The moment I heard it, the moment the right crowd hears it, so you can't just go play this for George Strait, and I don't even know why I said George Strait. Y'all even know who George Strait is?
I don't know who George Strait is.
Bro, he's that's crazy that I even said George Strait. Like, go play this for, let's just say, I don't even say Taylor Swift, because I feel like it has some crossover over there. But let's just say some super gospel Christian audience, right? You can't go play it over there and expect your grandma to hear FNF and it goes crazy, right? Yeah. But you play FNF for the right audience, and the more accurate it is, right? Also, the less money and effort it takes to get out, right?
Yeah.
Bam. You have that track. But there's other music. Bodak Yellow. I'll go back to there because we mentioned that recently. Bodak Yellow has a far higher ceiling, right? Obviously, we know what it did, but FNF could not get there, even if it wanted to. With all the money that Bodak Yellow had behind it, if it takes all that, the effort, some of the same people, it couldn't do what that song did, because there's a limitation in terms of who it's going to connect with. The language is a little bit, for some crowds, right? Her delivery is going to really resonate with somebody who's from the South like me, right? More than some people from other spaces and places around the world. Yeah. So for me, my Southern black ass is going to be like, oh shit, I know what this is. I connect with this shit. Like I know what time it is. Somebody else might hear that shit and they might need the rest of culture to let them know how much this moves, right?
Yeah.
So
convince them.
They need to be convinced, culturally convinced, right? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, then you should watch the full episode of No Labels Necessary that it came from, and it's going to really blow your mind. Check this clip right here.